Riddick over there on ESPN, he lets us know how Shedeur Sanders can be the Cleveland Browns QB1. And also, hey, Cleveland Browns got another wide receiver on a visit, and his name is Casey Concepcion, a wide receiver from Texas A&M. And also, I will listen to Cornell Tate speak on a space called Off the Clock, and I'm going to share that video with you right now. We're getting ready to talk about it all right here on Sports Talk with B. Watts. Let's get this show started. Let's go. ESPN analyst Riddick, who was a NFL executive at one time in his career, and he also a former defensive back in the NFL, also gave his thoughts and points of views about the Cleveland Browns quarterback situation, especially when it comes to Shedeur Sanders. When you look at the Cleveland Browns quarterback room, only thing Shedeur got to do is learn that playbook. If Shedeur learn that playbook, he will be QB1 for the Cleveland Browns. Let's listen to Riddick as he talk about Shedeur Sanders' chances on being QB1 for the Cleveland Browns. Riddick.
He has to really master Todd Monken's offense, and that means playing on time, making great decisions, protecting the football, and having the offense look from a fundamental perspective the way Todd wants it to look. And look, that's just the reality of it. And I understand that now you're learning another system, another new system. You're going to be going up against a guy who is a veteran in Deshaun Watson, who some people have high expectations of. But I think for him, it's about making sure he masters this offense to the best of his ability. That's really the only thing he can control. And quite honestly, the only thing Todd Monken's going to be looking for.
That's Riddick over there on ESPN talking about how can Shedeur Sanders be QB1 this year for the Cleveland Browns by beating out Deshaun Watson. When we look at the Cleveland Browns quarterback situation, we know what Shedeur Sanders can do. We expect Shedeur Sanders to go out there and perform at a high level. We saw this past year what Dylan Gabriel did, and we haven't seen anything from Deshaun Watson in 2 years because he's coming off 2 major injuries, and I just don't believe. I don't care what nobody say. I don't even care what Todd Monken is not saying. Shedeur Sanders is going to be QB1. I'm just here to tell you, Shedeur Sanders will be QB1 going into OTAs later on this month. I'm telling you, he is. He will be QB1, and it's going to be his job to lose. And I just don't believe Shedeur going to get that job up. He's just too good of a quarterback. I don't watch this dude play at a high level when he was at Jackson State, when he was at Colorado, and this past season when he started 7 games. The way he played, they done made the offensive line better. He getting a fresh start in training camp instead of being 4th on the depth chart like he was last year, and now he's going to be up front and center. I mean, Todd Monken want him to go out there and compete and win the job along with the general manager. So if you got all those favors at you and at your hand, you're going to win this job. No way you're going to lose. Been playing quarterback for a long time. No way Shedeur Sanders should not come away with being QB1 for the Cleveland Browns this year. I just don't believe that. And also, on a 30-pick visit today, they had a wide receiver to visit, Casey Concepcion. Casey Concepcion visit the Cleveland Browns facility today. And when you look at the Cleveland Browns pick in this upcoming draft, they got a 6, 24, and 39. You easily can get him at that 24th or 39th pick. Casey Concepcion is a wide receiver from Texas A&M. And you got to remember, he also came to Colorado when Shedeur was there at his last season at Colorado. So, but Concepcion went to Texas A&M. So I remember him then, and I watched his career, and he was a good wide receiver. So we're going to see how that turned out, and we just got to pay attention until the draft, when the draft starts, and see where the Cleveland Browns will do with their upcoming pick. And also, I want to talk about another wide receiver, Cornell Tate. Cornell Tate was on Off the Clock Space over there on Twitter, and he had some interesting words to say. Man, I'm telling you, this dude is savage. He know football, and when you watch his film, it line up with his talk. He can talk the game, and he can play the game. He played the game, and he can talk the game. Listen to him, the way he talked about football over here on this space, Off the Clock, over there on Twitter. All right, let's listen to him. Cornell Tate.
I think it was, what was it, Penn State? Yeah, it was Penn State. You had that post, I believe, where a dude was slightly shaded inside around what, 8 to 9 yards, and you stemmed in, you got vertical, then you sold fade on the 9, and he flipped his hips and you just crossed his face. So when you got a deep route and you see somebody that far off you, what's the first thing you're thinking of?
Oh, just attacking his leverage. I mean, he's obviously playing outside or inside for me not to go that way. So ultimately, if he's playing inside, I'm gonna just go attack him inside because he's trying to not let me go inside. So I'm gonna just attack him, either make him allow me to go inside or just allow him to just constantly move inside. So once he constantly move inside, then he's off my landmark. So I'm gonna just go stick him and go by him.
Yeah, man, because it just seems like you're so like that's just what you do. You manipulate coverages, even if they're off, whether they're in catch technique or even in press, bro. I see you do that. So it's just crazy to really be able to see that consistently because I feel like people don't understand that beating off man is a little bit harder than what people think just because they're that far off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. No, it's beating off man definitely can get to some people. I mean, especially if you don't know how to attack leverage and don't know how to manipulate DB.
Hell yeah, bro. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, I didn't want to. I want to try to talk your head off because I ain't gonna lie. I could go all day about this shit, bro. But Bird, you got.
Nah, you good, bro. I love talking football, so that's
Yeah, I
you
could
good.
tell, bro, because we was about to get really into it. But I ain't trying to. I ain't trying to hold.
That's Cornell Tate, the wide receiver of the Ohio State Buckeyes, entering this draft as one of the top wide receivers that should be available when the Cleveland Browns pick. Will the Cleveland Browns select Cornell Tate at their number 6 pick? Let me know down in the comment section. Should the Cleveland Browns select Cornell Tate with that number 6 pick in the first round of the NFL draft? Let me know down in the comments section. I believe they should. But then again, when you look at the draft, it's a lot of receivers in the draft. And you look at the Cleveland Browns they need a left tackle. And it's not that many left tackles. Boy, it's going to be a hard decision for Andrew Berry to make. But, man, you just can't let Cornell Tate just for anybody. Now, Cornell Tate is not to me, he's not no number 1 wide receiver because he don't have the speed. Now, for as a route runner and a 1A wide receiver, oh, he all that. He's a technician coming off that line of scrimmage. He can get off the line of scrimmage. Strong hand, catch the ball in traffic. He can catch the ball at his highest point. And when you watch his career at Ohio State, he balled out. And he wasn't even the number 1 wide receiver on the team. So when I look at that, if he can do that when Jeremiah Smith, who's the number 1 wide receiver on Ohio State, and Cornell Tate can go out there and play like he played with them, man, he sure can go out there and play like that with Jerry Jeudy. Huh? I'm just saying, y'all. I'm just saying. Once again, hey, that's the end of Sports Talk with B. Watt. Thank you for tuning in. I got a live show tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Come on back and chop it up with me. We're going to have a good time. All right? I'll drop another video around about between 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock. All right? Check it out for me if you don't mind. Hit the like button. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed. hit that notification button. It'll let you know whenever I go live or drop a video. Will you do that for me? Peace.